welcome to Jimmerish FM. My name is James, and this is the first episode of a podcast that doesn't have a name.
Yes.
I'm joined by...
Jessica. Hi, guys.
You're back, Jessica.
I am back.
How have you been?
I've been good, James. How are you?
Oh, I had a very zen weekend.
For Easter?
Yeah.
A zen weekend?
And then came back to just a hellhole
Oh, no.
of just, stuff that, everything piles up.
Well, talk to me.
It's nothing really interesting. I wish it was like, wow, super interesting, but it's not,
Oh, okay.
How are you? How was your Easter?
Yeah, no, mine wasn't too bad. Nothing too shabby. But wait, you told me you were going away. Did you end up going away?
I did.
And?
It was good.
Where'd you go?
Peppermint Grove Beach.
Peppermint Grove Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
Yeah, it was my parents' house.
Oh.
They were coming to Perth, so I went to stay at their house. Well, they're not there.
Which we do. That's just what you do.
Yep.
When your parents aren't home.
And, it was very interesting weather. It was only... I thought the original forecast was going to rain the whole weekend, but it ended up only raining one day. Are we going into what we can be consuming? Because I've been consuming Peppermint Grove Beach.
Is that all you've been consuming?
Pretty much.
Was it fun?
It was okay, It was perfect for me because I was just by myself doing... On, a couple of days I had to work still.
Mm-hmm.
But the couple of days I didn't have to, I just did nothing.
Now,
And
what do you mean
the best
work?
kind of nothing. Writing, editing,
The stuff.
film stuff.
Film stuff. Well, that's fun.
And one day I went to my friend's art exhibition that opened, Elizabeth Marufu. I don't think I'm saying that right. And she had an art exhibition opening at Margaret River Gallery in Margaret River. It's on till the April 18th. If you want to go and check it, it's pretty amazing. If you want to pop in and see it.
Oh,
If you've got a lot of money, you can buy the paintings.
If I've got a lot of money, okay. Probably not.
And support the art community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she does these sort of dreamscape things, and she actually puts herself into it, and she does like sort of quite a large canvases, and then she has these really small, very detailed little drawings on them that like it draws you in because you want to see the detail. So you sort of like everyone's up there close looking at this little really amazingly detailed little drawings.
Oh,
and
wow.
They almost look. Some of them almost look like they're photos, but they're actually painting. There's just so much detail in them, and and she uses all different sort of paints, and like she puts bits of glitter and stuff like that. So there's as you look, it sort of has a glint to it. It has like some interesting texture, all her works. And, so that was cool, and caught up with some of the other people who come down for the opening.
Awesome.
She, after her exhibition, the opening finished, she had a cocktail that's in like one of those big Cosmo glasses, and it has a big puff of fairy floss.
Oh, that's awesome.
On top, and then you pour the cocktail in, and it sort of makes a hole into the fairy floss into the glass,
yeah.
And then it sucks the fairy floss into it, and the fairy floss absorbs into the drink.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess, fairy floss flavored Cosmo or something like that.
A sugary drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's quite spectacular because this big cloud of fairy floss just dissolves into the drink.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, it was a bit fancy.
It was a bit fancy. It
yes,
sounds fancy.
I walked on the beach, and it was in the country, not a lot of light pollution, and so as the sun was setting, amazing sunset on one side, the water was the bay was perfectly still, so it was like a mirror, and the water was really, really warm, and I was just walking through it on the way back, and the sun sets on the one side, and the stars are already coming up on the east on the other side. And the stars are amazing because there's no light pollution, and I had like a very zen epiphany about life. That I was like, is this even real? Like, this feels like I'm in a video game. It's that amazing. So in a video game, they always exaggerate the sunsets and the stars and stuff to make it feel like a fantasy. But this was like that in real life.
Oh.
Even though it was real life, I think.
Oh, yeah. But that's cool.
So what have you been consuming?
What have I been consuming? Well, today I've consumed a bunch of puppies.
Yes, you're talking about this before, so I'm actually excited to hear what's going on.
Yeah, so I have 2 Maltese dogs and a boy and a girl, obviously.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, she had puppies.
Yeah.
And, it was, I guess, quite easy then because they were still little, and they weren't moving. So they were just suckling off the mother. And now they're coming on, a bit older, and they're starting to walk and run around and starting to poop and pee, and it's just like a full-time fucking job. It is.
Is this a planned?
Oh, no, it wasn't. So we got the male dog probably like a year ago, and the lady that we got him off told us that he was fixed. Clearly not, because
Wow.
clearly not. Yeah, so we've got some puppies, but they're super cute. They're beyond the cutest things I've ever seen. Hard work. Sadly, she had 3, and one of them, we had to put it down because it was doing quite well. And then 2 weeks later, I don't know what happened, but I walked into where we have them in the room, and you could just tell that it didn't look well. And I picked it up, and it wasn't really moving. Even though they sucking off their mother, they still, move their hands, and, they push up against the breast, and they make sure that
they're really small, right?
They're very tiny, like the size of a little palm. They're just super small at the start. And 2 weeks into it, we thought, okay, they're all good now. They're healthy.
Have they opened eyes yet?
Yeah, they're so cute. I'll have to show you some pics. They're adorable. I'm obsessed with them. They're hard work, though. They're getting harder now that they're, a bit older and they're starting to walk around. They're just starting to demolish the house. They're ripping up shoes, and because they're teething, so their teeth are starting to come out, and they're just starting to do all this sorts of stuff, but they're absolutely adorable. But anyway, they were doing poopies, and it's really gross. And
you let them just go over all the house?
No, I don't. No way.
Yeah.
My family would just absolutely destroy me if I let them do that. I have them in the laundry. Yeah. And I have it nice and warm and everything. Ideally, my parents don't actually like dogs in the house because, they are dogs and we love dogs and all of that, but they stink eventually. So, and, mum's likes to have the house nice and neat and whatever. And so she's like fuming that they're even in the laundry because she's like, I feel like my house stinks, which it doesn't because it's quite a large house, and the laundry is like right at the back where the alfresco is. She's made the house, easy access like that. But yeah, having 4 dogs is really hard because now we've got obviously 2 puppies and 2 adult dogs.
What does the dad do?
The dad walks up to them, sniffs them, and runs away. I think he's scared of them.
All right. So he hasn't taken on a father figure role yet.
I don't know what happens, but I've just sort of done some research, and I think that he doesn't quite understand. He does, but I think he doesn't. Yeah. So she's very protective over them. Every time he sort of comes towards their little nest, I guess, if whatever you call it, she gets very protective and jumps up out of the bed and almost tells him shoo, go away. But yeah, now that they're getting older, it's much easier and whatever, and soon we're going to have to get them vaccinated and then obviously, start to take them to their homes or whatever. But what I wanted to say was that, even though it was hard, and it is hard, I'm quite attached to them. And I think it's going to be quite sad to actually get, put them into new homes because they are already so comfortable in our house. And I actually, it says, I was reading up about them, it says to try and get them used to different things so that when they move to their new homes, they're not as scared. So I just picked it up and started taking it into different rooms just to see, its reaction. And every time I took it somewhere different that it has never seen before, it sort of froze and started shaking. And I thought, well, it's scared here in a house where its mum is. Can you imagine when I actually have to give it away? So it's going to be quite sad. But yeah, I guess, that's what happens with dogs. But I'm super attached to them now. But today I was trying to clean up the laundry to get it all back nice and neat. I have to clean it every friggin' half hour. But anyway, because they're just destroying things. But I put them outside in the backyard and walked back into the laundry. And because they're starting to walk and run now, she ran up so quickly behind me that before I'd even gotten into the laundry, she was biting on my legs. So I thought, oh my God, they're already so fast. I'm almost stepping on them almost all the time. But anyway, yeah, that's what I did today. My exciting day.
So how many? There's just 2 puppies.
There's only 2 puppies, yeah, because the other one passed away, which is super sad.
But is that normal? I thought they always have like 10 babies at a time or something.
Yeah, my dog had 3. My dog's got a thyroid problem, so I'm assuming that had something to do with why she's only had 3. But then one of them died, which was really quite sad. I had to put it down.
That's normal.
Apparently
There's always
it
a runt
is.
of the liver.
There is always a runt, but I didn't think that the runt would be 2 weeks after.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's quite weird.
I don't know.
I don't
I've
know
never bred
either.
any dogs.
You don't? Have you got a dog?
No. My last family dog died probably coming up on 2 years ago, and my mum and dad got a new dog, and they were in Perth while they got it. They sort of picked it up in Perth. They had a couple of weeks in Perth, so I got to experience having a puppy, which was probably about 2 months old when it got it, and it was still pretty small.
What kind of dog was it?
A Labrador, black lab.
Oh, so cute.
And it's, it's a menace to society. Their teeth are so sharp, and then
especially
they're very
Labradors,
orally
they're
fixated.
Big.
Oh yeah, it just
They
it's funny
grow.
how I'm like, oh, you should enjoy this now because it's going to be great, and they grow up so fast. And like in 4 weeks, it was like a fully grown dog.
I know.
And
I know. Yeah, that's so funny that happens, especially when it is a Labrador, which is quite a big dog. I mean, these dogs are small. Maltese, if for anyone out there doesn't know, they're quite small dogs and they don't grow very big at all. Now they've even started breeding something called mini Maltese, which basically means they stay the size of a hand the entire time. I actually met a 4-year-old mini Maltese and I was just about shocked. I'm like, it doesn't look like it's grown. It just still looks like a puppy. I like little dogs. I like all sorts of dogs, but I prefer little puppies just because the shits aren't as big to collect off.
oh right, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I've grown off dogs. I've gone off them. I used to be a big dog person when I was a kid, and I was just like, I remember when we got a cat, and I was just like, cats.
Yeah.
And then I got a cat, and I was just like, wow, these are so much better than dogs.
Really? Are you more of a cat?
I am now, yeah. But then my cat died, so.
Oh. Well, that's a lot of sad stories there.
Yeah, just before Christmas, and I was like, I still haven't got over it.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't got over the fact that I have got over it.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I've lost 2 dogs previously. I've had dogs my whole life, actually. I don't remember ever not having a dog. My dad used to buy him, because he wanted us to go outside and play.
Yeah.
And so on. The main dog that I had, I think it was alive for like 6 or 7 years, but we lived on a very main busy road and the dog would never go there. But my dad had crossed the road at that time and it followed my dad, and unfortunately a lady ran over him and it was very devastating because when I picked him up he died in my hands.
Oh, God.
Which was really sad. Yeah, we're getting a bit sad here now. Let's not be sad. Be happy.
Yeah,
be
new
happy.
puppies. Yeah, anyway, I'm a bit in trouble with my parents because when they last went away and I was dog sitting, I came outside and Molly is her name. She's like, come over here, check this out. I'm like, what is it? And she's like, no, you got to check this out, come on. And so I came over and she wanted me to just like, she was like trying to pull this cement block away from the wall. And then she'd look at me like, come on, are you going to help it or what? So I pull it away and this rat jumps out and goes, bounding across the garden. Of course, she chases after it. And now from that moment on, she's addicted to hunting rats.
Oh.
And so my parents...
That's good, though.
She's now disowned my parents and now she's bonded with me because she thinks I'm her hunting partner.
Oh.
And so whenever I'm around, the dog won't listen to my parents because she's just sitting there going... Let's go rat hunting. 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 And it's a bit annoying.
They do get annoying. I've got to say, people out there that are listening, love dogs, adore them. If you are planning on getting one, just make sure that you're ready to make a full-on commitment because
they are so much a hassle.
So
You've got to take them for walks.
Yeah, mine cries
Moles probably
if it doesn't get walked.
They just want attention all the time. The cats.
Yeah.
Cats, when they're little, they want to play with you all the time, but then eventually they get into the teenagers and they're like, I'll come and chat to you when I'm lonely, but I'm quite fine just, doing my own thing.
See, I've never been a cat person.
They poop in their own
Litter box.
They don't,
Yeah, no,
you know.
it's not. They're not
They
as much of
bury
a
it
hassle.
afterwards.
But see, this is why dogs are man best friend, because one thing that someone told me, which is so true and I've always thought, is no matter what you do to a dog, be mean to it, don't treat it good or whatever, the dog will still love you, because they truly, that you are their whole world, and people just don't realise, you know, if you're going to get a dog, they like to be walked because that's their happy time. They like to smell different things, and they like
They're like
to...
slaves. They sit
They are. They're absolutely
in the
beautiful.
house, and their whole life is waiting for that
For you.
2 moments in the day when
Yep.
you feed them and
Yep.
when you walk them.
Yeah, and even just seeing you, like if you're out, they are so excited to see you every time. It's like you have been on a holiday for 10 years, and every time you see them, they are just as excited to see you as they were the next day. And that's the cool thing. See, with cats, I've never been a cat person, so you might kill me. But I'm not a cat person because cats aren't like that. Yeah, I like the fact that they, you know, do whatever and then they walk off. But see, that's why I find them to be not a loyal pet. I just
Oh,
think...
they're extra loyal. You know, my cat never strayed past, you know, so far in front of the house.
You're lying.
The dog would just run to the park and go and sniff other people and wouldn't care what, you know. She'll completely forget about you in 5 seconds.
Really?
As long
See,
as
I've
someone
had
else-
super loyal dogs. My dad accidentally locked one out, and we woke up the next morning and it was sitting on our porch just waiting for us to open the door and let it back in. So it didn't run away. That's how much it loved
Yeah, but
us.
that's one in a... That's getting lucky.
Maybe I
With
just
a cat,
treat
that's
my
just
dogs
normal
really good.
behavior.
Maybe I'm just a really good dog owner.
Yeah, my last dog that was actually sort of mine because it was brought up when I was, you know, living with my parents full time. She was very territorial, so she was a bit like a cat. But of course, she learnt from my cat because my cat was older. So I noticed that they seemed to learn from each other. And like my cat, when we had our previous dog, learnt from my dog about how to lounge about in the house, and they were trying to mimic it. It was very funny.
Oh, wow. Speaking of cats, actually, my friend, this is one of the reasons why I know. I even said to her, cats not loyal, whatever. We had coffee, I remember, one week, and then when we had coffee the next week, she said to me, oh, would you believe, she goes, you were saying that cats aren't loyal. She goes, my cat disappeared for a week and I still don't know where it is, she goes. And then she goes, the other day I was walking down the street, she said, with my dog. She's got a cat and a dog, which is funny, they get along. But anyway, and she said that she saw the neighbour with a whole bunch of kittens that looked exactly like her cat. And then she saw her cat with them, and she said to the neighbour, that's my cat. And she said, no, it's not. This is my cat. And she goes, no, I mean, like, this is my cat, whatever. And they had a big debate about it. And she's like, oh my gosh, well, she's been coming here and I've been feeding her for years. And my friend was like, oh my God. So my cat has got like me as an owner and the next door neighbour as an owner, and only God knows how many more owners. And I said to her, this is exactly why I don't like cats. They just disappear, and when they feel like coming back, they do. They sort of they go away, they get pregnant. I call them sluts because they go away, they get pregnant, they party for a week, and then they come back and they're like, oh hey, feed me now. You know,
That's why you got to get them fixed.
Yeah.
That's the one problem with cats, is I'll probably never own a cat again because
you don't know where they'll go. Check in with your
Well, they'll
neighbours.
stay at the house, but they will. If you live anywhere near bushland, you can't have them because they eat the native animals. And obviously, you know, I'll never probably own a house in my life, so you know, you can't rely. Cats live for last cat lived for almost 18 years. You can't rely on having a stable place to live that allows you to have pets for 18 years. So,
Well, not rental, but why do you think that you'll never be able to own a home? You don't want to, or just
I mean, houses are too expensive for
so
artists
through
to
the
own.
roof? I know.
You know, until
They are very expensive.
until they ban negative gearing, it's none of our generation, unless you get some crazy job and your partner gets a crazy job and you team up and then get a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
That's the only way to buy a house these days.
Oh, speaking of that, which is crazy, I was actually speaking to my mum and dad about it a few days ago. I asked them how much they bought their house. This is going back like 20 years ago. And they said to me, listen to this, $70,000. I was like,
same,
oh my God, that's like the price of a car now for like a crazy car. Not even a crazy car really, but that's unbelievable. And now it's worth $550. And it's like, oh my God, house is falling to bits. which is why we don't live in that one anymore. But it's still worth it because that's just, they've made it so no matter what the house looks like, it's the land that costs a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling you about in Balga.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Balga, the market has just gone up like crazy. And if anyone out there knows what Balga is, it's like, it's not exactly where you want to be. But
Hey, you know, the only time I've
it.
ever seen a Tesla was in Balga.
A Tesla?
In real life, yeah.
Really?
Do you know what a Tesla is?
No.
This is something we have to talk about because this is a landmark week in history.
Oh, okay. I need to know about this then.
Yeah, okay. First was the release of the Oculus Rift, the consumer version. It's the first, like, real virtual reality device. So it's not that you probably haven't heard about it, but in, 20 years' time, this week might be the most significant week ever just for that. But they're also announcing the first non-luxury Tesla this week. So, even the plebs can own one, which is a Tesla's an electric car. Do you know about them?
Yeah.
The Tesla electric car that can go like 200 miles, which is like 400 kilometers, so you can drive down to Busselton and back on one charge, basically. And they're really awesome. But they're releasing the first consumer one, or announcing it this week on April 1st, I think. And it's going to be like, it's like the equivalent of like the iPhone in 2007. Like people are already lining up to put their pre-order down.
Oh, is this the new home? What is the Tesla? It's like, is it?
It's an electric car.
Okay. Oh,
but
okay.
the current luxury models, like they drive themselves. And
do you think people will purchase them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Because they can't make enough of the luxury ones, and they cost over $100,000. So now they're going to bring one out that's $35,000 US, which is the exchange rate is going to kill us in Australia. But if it came out 5 years ago, this would have gone crazy in Australia, because getting a car for 35 that you don't have to pay for fuel.
Yeah,
because you just plug it into the power point at home.
What happens if I'd assume they'd have a portable charger or something, or rather that you could have with it. I mean, what would happen in that case? Because I've always wondered about, these sorts of cars. I get it; they're better for the environment.
What
and
happens
obviously,
if you run out of fuel?
Well, there's petrol stations everywhere. Like we don't have charging places.
You have to be able to drive to it.
Well, yeah.
So you still have to get a tow to the petrol station.
True. So I guess
you just don't run out of fuel.
Yeah, I guess that's what people think about.
Charges overnight, like your phone. So every day you have a full tank of.
Well, my phone dies every day. I have to charge my phone every single day.
Samsung.
Yeah. Do you know what? I had an iPhone. I'm a newbie at a Samsung. I've only been in the contract for like a year, and I don't even know how to use iPhones anymore. Yet I had iPhones for, ever, and now I've gone to Samsung because I was told that they were better, that they're more like computers or whatever you will.
People are trying to do that scammy.
Yeah. It's all
not
different.
True. It's delusional.
I like the look of the new phones, though, of all of them. The iPhones and new Samsungs, they just look so cool.
Yeah, I can only ever use an iPhone because they're only real phones. Like, Android phones are kind of a gimmick. Like, they try and copy the iPhone, but the actual software underneath doesn't work. Like, we couldn't actually... It's really hard to even just record audio on them.
It is very hard. And you know what? It's weird. Like, I don't know. I haven't really played around with it maybe too much. I don't know. I mean, unless you're, into tech sort of stuff, what do you really use your phone for? Picking up calls and, emails and texting or whatever you will. But it's funny how all of us want the most spectacular phone, yet we don't use half of the features on it. And I guess that's how they just make you want to have that phone.
But you use it all the time.
You do use it all the time.
If it's how what's the thing they say is that the one thing you should spend money on is your mattress because you spend a third of your life on it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Like, this is the one thing that I carry everywhere, and it gets the most wear and tear. So it's like, if you're going to spend money on something that you use it more than any other tool in your life, it's the one thing you probably should spend money on. I'm not saying that you have to spend money on. It's just that some of the cheap phones are a bit of a scam, because if you work out the actual resale value of an iPhone, by the end of your contract, you can probably sell it back, and the money... But the difference between what you bought for it new and the money you sold it back after the end of your contract is probably the cost of your cheap phone. Yeah. So you haven't actually lost any money. It's not actually more expensive.
No.
Anyway, we're going way off the field. This is not a tech podcast. Hillary's Boat Harbour. That's where we are. We didn't say that, did we?
No,
We're
we didn't.
recording at Hillary's Boat Harbour. Jess picked out the location, a nice, picturesque location. Sorrento Key.
I think this is actually called Quay.
Is it?
Quay. I don't know. Is it? I think it's Quay. It's not Key. Sorrento Key. Oh,
It's
is
spelled
it?
the same way.
It is. Is it? I don't know. I think, and by the way, I've been coming here for years, and I don't even know whether
This is
it's
your
Key
local
or
joint?
Quay. This is my local joint.
So did you guys, have you had brought a, what, a goon bag to these tables and sat here and stared at the water with your mates after high school?
I'm not really a goon bag kind of girl.
I saw that this is an alcohol-free zone for families sign when it came in.
Yeah, so no, probably not a goon bag. When I say come down here, I mean I've come down here with family. It used to be like what still probably is really, like a Sunday summer ritual. Come down here in the afternoon and stay here, all night basically. It's just so beautiful if you guys were here to see the view.
Well, people who don't live in Perth, it's one of the bigger tourist attractions because
it's stunning.
There's water, there's the little theme park here next to us. Then there's the water park, and isn't the aquarium?
Yeah, there is
aquarium
Aqua.
here?
Yeah, Aqua's here as well. Not that it's that crash. I mean, have you been?
Probably, I can't even remember.
You can do the whole thing in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but you meant to sit there and stare
Yeah,
at
I
the
know.
fish.
You're meant to. Yeah, I know that. But, I mean, like, you look at, like, you see all this stuff everywhere else where they're like, their zoos are just crazy and fun and you can be there for ages. And I feel like our, like, zoos and Aqua, they're just so standard.
You were making fun of how little I knew about this place. Because I was like, where do I park? I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Do you live in WA?
And I was just saying, I'll tell you a story about the last time I was here. It was the last time I had like a lady in my life that was like a real thing, and it was her 21st birthday, and I came to the party, and we'd sort of already agreed like, this isn't working out, but because it was the 21st, I came, and I met her father for the first time, which was weird. He really sat me down and really interrogated me, and he's like in the military, I think.
One of those.
And he sat me down and was like, so you're the James, and it was really intimidating, and I sort of met, and a bunch of her family had flown over from England for it. Anyway,
For a 21st?
Yeah, I think it was in summer, so they were doing it for fun as well. When we left, she walked me out. It was at the breakwater here, and there's this big staircase there, and she was in, it was the 21st, she was all dressed up, and I remember it being like this white flowing dress. And,
oh my God, like a wedding dress?
No, like a stylish dress, but because, it's her 21st, so she's like dressed up like a princess kind of thing. And she saw me off, and I walked down the stairs, and I got to the bottom of the stairs, and I turned back, and she was still watching me, and she sort of said goodbye, and I never saw her again in real life.
No.
And,
wait, that was how you guys ended it?
Yeah.
That's sad.
I mean, we had
You had discussions
text
about it.
things,
Oh, but still.
post, but I've never actually seen her in real life since then.
No, you haven't seen her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Never even ran
very
into her at
dramatic.
IGA.
It's funny, that's the second time that's happened to me in real life, that the last time I've seen someone who was actually like a girl that's a big deal in my life on a staircase. And they were looking, I turned back and looked back as like a movie, and then that was the last time I saw her as well.
Maybe you're meant to write a movie.
I know, but it's a bit of a
that
cliche.
is like that. It is. It's like...
And then, but people say, "What, that actually happened to you?" And I'm like, "Yes, well, it's still a cliche, man."
I love how you keep saying in real life. Like, in real life? Do we live in a fake life or...
I live in a fantasy world, Jess.
You know what?
You're on this ride with
I
me on
am
Jimmerish
with you
FM.
on that because, you know what? Like, sometimes I close my eyes and I dream.
Mm-hmm.
Dream. All sorts of rubbish.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever experiment with lucid dreaming?
Yes.
Is it? What's your results like?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't remember them, but sometimes I
Do you know
force
what I've
myself
heard? This
to
is my
dream
new
things.
thing. Well, it's a new thing I've been trying for a year. Is apparently if you wake up and roll over, you forget your dreams. But if you can
Stay
teach
in one
yourself
spot.
to not roll over or if you're on your side, you
Stay
roll
there.
onto your back, or if you're on your back and you roll to your side, if you stop yourself from moving and absorb what you just remembered, you're actually keeping in your brain.
I think you're onto something, because I actually believe that, because I find when I'm turning and whatever, in the morning I don't remember my dreams, yet when I'm frozen, I wake up and I remember everything down to the key. And sometimes I think I'm really quite superstitious, and it's like really weird, because I had a grandfather that passed away. He lives in Europe, going back many years ago. But while I was asleep, I remember being a younger girl, and something screamed in my head saying, your grandfather died. And then we got a knock on the door in the morning from my grandfather that lives here. And he, my dad opened the door and he just goes, tell me what it is. Because my dad couldn't sleep all night as well. And his father wasn't sick, because this is his father I'm referring to. But he just, sometimes what I'm trying to say is you have sort of like these weird senses where even though you might, I feel like some people are just more interact with their sort of, their minds. I don't know how to really, they sort of sense certain things. And, anyway, that was said. And then my grandfather said that, my other grandfather had passed away. And I got scared, because I was like, something literally just screamed in my head saying that my grandfather had died. Now, sometimes I feel like really superstitious like that. And sometimes people are like, you're a freak. And, and I'm like, I am a freak. And I don't know why, but like I feel a strong connection to my dreams. Like I feel like whatever I dream that night somehow has got something to do with my real life and what's happened, what I feel, and certain things that I sense in my dreams I feel like are bad luck in my real life. And even being European, sometimes my family says certain dreams mean bad luck, or certain dreams mean good luck. Like if you see a death, sometimes it can be good, or I don't know the whole, gist of things, but how some people, believe certain things, like, like I think it's in certain Asian countries, I think the number 3 or 4 or something is considered bad luck, so they don't they don't go near that number or something. So it's kind of like that. What I'm trying to say. However, I brought it up there. You guys are probably like, "What are you loony?" But that's what I'm trying to say. Like certain people really believe in this stuff, whereas like they would think the number, is it the number 3 or 4? Do you know? Is it 3?
God.
No, it's 4. It's 4.
I think it's probably 4.
I think it's 4, yeah. And I've never understood why they stay away from it, but they believe that it's a bad omen. And same thing as they don't believe in debt, so they pay everything with cash. Do you know what I mean? So, I sort of respect people like that, because that's like what they believe. And, like my partner's mum believes, she has like this Chinese writing in her house, and it's apparently supposed to be good luck. You know how you have like a Buddha and you rub its bald head or whatever. People have these sort of superstitions, and she's like, no, I cannot get rid of this writing or whatever. And it's like the ugliest thing you ever see. It's so old, it's like rotting, but she doesn't want to get rid of it because it's like bad luck to do that. So do you like believe in that sort of stuff?
I sometimes think about the dream. Sometimes I think that what if this is not real life? And what if the dream is real life and you're going between each world?
I know. Oh my God, yes, I believe that too.
Because sometimes you meet these people in your dreams and it's like, I've known you forever.
Yeah.
And speaking of the girl in the white dress, I got home that night and unfollowed her on Facebook after this party.
Mature.
No, it's because I knew that's the best way to get over someone. It's just to
block them out.
Not block them, but just not get reminded about them all the time.
Yeah, of course.
I mean? And I didn't delete her. I just unfollowed her, so it doesn't show up my feed. And
James, that's the same thing.
No, it's not, because I didn't hurt her. It's not like she went and said, "Oh, why you deleted me?"
Yeah.
And hurt her.
No, you just did it the shady way, so she didn't know.
No, it's the healthy way, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't sort of, and that worked, and I didn't really think about her again for like a year. And then I had this crazy dream where she turned up. I hadn't seen her in a year, and she said, "Look, I'm pregnant, and I don't want anything to do with the father. I want you to help me raise this kid." And I said
What?
yes, and I gave up my whole artistic ambition and everything and decided to be a father to this kid. And when I woke up, it felt like I'd been out of this world, the real world, supposedly, for like a month. And it just rocked me to my core, this thing. Like it almost felt like this world was not real and that world was.
No, I'm with you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I've had other dreams like that where you feel like you've gone for weeks.
Yeah. You wake up and you're like...
And I really need to get into it more. Like people say you take melatonin or something and that really can help you. A certain brain vitamins or whatever you call them that you can take that stimulates your brain while you're sleeping so you have more lucid dreams.
Is that healthy?
It's a lot healthier than what I do now, which is like get really drunk.
No, at night, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's not healthy.
No, exactly.
Do you get drunk or do you get stoned?
No, drunk. I should get stoned, but
It's probably better for you.
I'm not part of that world.
If you did, you might actually have better dreams because your body would be like in a...
Are you suggesting that's a good idea?
I'm suggesting you should try it.
I'm going to incriminate you on air.
No. Isn't it legal now or something?
Not in Australia at all. We have not under the Liberals anyway. I think
they have legalised it somewhere though for medical reasons. No, in Australia.
Oh, yeah. In Melbourne, you can get a prescription as part of an experimental program to have cannabis oil, which is like if you have cancer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, do you know what? I actually believe that cannabis oil would help assist because it would put you out of a bit of pain as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, like my grandfather has like chronic pain. I'm like, he could, and they always giving her different painkillers to try and, handle it. What do they call? Care for it or manage pain.
Like antibiotics. I hate antibiotics because they're so bad for your body. It just deteriorates your body. It truly does. And Antibiotics.
Yeah.
Why?
I think you only take that when you're sick, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, aren't we talking about sick people?
No, I'm talking about people who just have chronic pain management.
Yeah. Well, even people take antibiotics for chronic pain. Can I tell you what doctors do these days?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm unwell. Okay, here's a prescription for some antibiotics.
Yeah, well, that is bad for the world.
It's very bad. I mean...
I don't know about it for you, but...
It's very bad. I've gone to some doctors and I'm just like... This is why a lot of people are dying from, legal drugs because you guys aren't even taking... They don't even take the time to find out diagnose what's actually wrong with you. They just give you medication or they say take Nurofen, take Panadol, take this, take that. And it's like, well, Nurofen's not actually good for you because it's actually very bad for you. I think they were saying they want to ban it from being available without prescription because it can do damage. It can tear your stomach lining and do all sorts of stuff. But I don't believe in antibiotics. I believe, if you're really unwell...
Yes.
Okay, but I'm not a big antibiotic person.
You have to have an infection. I think antibiotics is anti-infection. And if you don't...
Then why do they give it to people who have a cold? You know what I mean?
Well, because they keep on whinging until they do.
Yeah.
Even though a cold is an infection. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can tell if it's an infection.
Drink
like
water and sleep.
You get mucus coming out of your snot, like pus in your... You have pus in your snot, so you can tell if you have an infection. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend anything.
Yes.
So I say.
Don't pay attention to us.
Yes, so this could be a landmark. This could be one of the biggest weeks of this century with the first real VR set and the first real cheap electric car coming out.
Very cool. How did you find out about this?
Well, this is big news.
It's big news.
It's probably not in your world. But
no, maybe not.
What's big news in your world, Jess?
I don't know.
Other than the puppies.
Shh. Don't diss my puppies.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what else.
I'm joking. What's big in my world? That's your personal world.
What's your big wider world? What's worrying you or got you excited?
Lots. Lots that I don't want to bore people with. Yeah, I don't know.
No. You're not part of this whole John Lovitz with the young girl thing?
John Lovitz? No.
No?
No.
Okay, I tried to read up some goss, so we would have something to talk about, but...
Oh. I'm I'm okay. Well, I guess the main thing that I obviously try and keep up to date with is like the entertainment world, just because I'm,
Have you gone
kind
to
of
see the
that
new
kind
Batman
of girl.
movie?
I haven't gone and seen it. I haven't gone and seen it. And I don't really want to. Strangely enough, I don't like Batman.
Why
I think
not?
Batman's super dark.
Yeah, but that's the idea.
I know, but he's...
Instead of becoming evil, he becomes good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not... I've never been massive on Batman. The main movie that I really liked was the one with the Joker in it, which is The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which I think Heath Ledger, just his performance was out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And, my God, he's absolutely amazing. And I cannot believe he's passed away, because I just think he was such an amazing actor. And you know what? He was from Perth in Fremantle. And wow, just proves that us like little city people or whatever can get somewhere. And it's just, he's amazing. I don't know. He's really inspiring to me. But anyway, back to Batman. Yeah.
I haven't seen it either, so we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I will say this, reviews are very bad.
Yeah.
And people are giving it a thumbs down. It has made a lot of money. It has, I think it's made $450 million worldwide already since opening, which is obviously a lot. So they're laughing to the bank. However, reviews are shocking. They're saying this movie is bad. What I will say, not ruining, your if you do go and see it, I do know what it's about and whatever, because my partner told me he went and saw it, and he said for a movie called Batman v Superman, there is no action in it.
All right.
So it's not a Batman v
I thought it was meant to have too much action.
See, it's not a Batman v Superman movie. It's a Batman
that has Superman.
And then there's a Superman. So that's it. So it's just who's better.
All right. Yeah.
That's basically what it is. And Wonder Woman is the best in the whole movie. She is actually better than Batman and Superman in the movie. And, I mean, it's a bit annoying, but Ben Affleck's performance to me looked quite good.
Yeah.
But I have looked at reviews and everything, and they're not good. So, like I said, they can laugh to the bank, but whatever.
I don't think I can bear to go see it.
Yeah, you're not a big Batman v Superman fan?
I'm a big fan of good Batman, but bad Batman is...
What do you think of Ben Affleck?
I think he's probably the worst actor ever in history.
No, why do you think that?
I just don't believe him at all. He literally looks like he's just walked on set, read the script, and just he's sitting there going, "What was my line?"
I think certain movies he does that. Have you seen Gone Girl? I think
that's the only one he's in because that's the only one he's okay in because he's meant to be bad.
I thought his performance in that was really good.
He's meant to look fake and dishonest to throw you off the scent and he does that just by being a bad actor rather than actually being good, I think.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I can see what you mean by that. I mean, he's not the best actor, obviously, depending on, whatever you act, depending on what movie you are in, but I don't mind Ben Affleck. He was really bad at the start in Jiggly. That was just like the worst movie ever made. It went on and on and on, and it was like, what is this even about?
Yeah.
And that was when he was up and coming, and he was they actually lost money in that movie.
Yeah.
They lost money. That's so bad.
Doesn't surprise me.
Have you seen Deadpool?
No. Is it any good?
It's interesting. I liked it.
It's tempted to go see that, but it's still, I'm a bit over generic superhero films, And I heard that Ryan Reynolds put a lot of work in to make it so it's actually a unique movie. So I feel like I want to see it. I
think you should, especially if you're, into film and movies.
But I'm not going to go see any more Avengers-related films because they're rubbish.
You don't like Avengers?
No.
Why not? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Why? Why do I care about any of these people?
So what do you, when you say you film and whatever, what exactly, so you don't, I'm assuming you don't like superhero films?
No, I do. I like Dark Knight. That actually feels like there's something at stake.
Okay, so you like more serious films. You don't like sort of fun, just
I
enjoy.
like Batman Forever, which is a really campy Batman.
Okay.
But I don't like Tim Burton's Batman, which is like in the middle.
It's awful.
And I don't like Batman and Robin, which is awful as well, which is crazy because the same director as Batman Forever, and I thought he He was like, he had the right amount of cheese, and then he decided, nah, let's just go even cheesier and just make it so ridiculous.
But maybe the writers did that. And the director just directed.
And, you know, I mean, Zack Snyder is visually sort of interesting because he tries to make films look like comic books. But, you know, there's nothing in his movies that actually makes me care about the characters. So.
Oh, okay. See, Avengers
Iron Man 3,
massive.
amazing, but it was ruined by Avengers because it didn't make sense. Once you've seen Avengers, it's like, well, Iron Man 3 is in trouble. Why doesn't he just call up the Hulk and help him? He's now the Avengers has ruined all the other movies because they don't make sense.
Because they all sort of go into one, don't they? Because even Captain America now,
Thor,
it's like a mini
the
Avengers.
idea of Thor existing in Iron Man's world is just like ruined Iron Man. Like Iron Man was kind of like Marvel's Batman.
It's very weird that they made Thor an Avenger. He's a god. Like
it lives in a different
totally
universe.
different world, and I don't get. So they've got. I guess it is a bit odd. I like Avengers though. I think they've got a good idea and sort of made it so that the public like it. I know what they're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? Like make a lot of money. Yeah, they're trying to make money. They succeeded in that, and superheroes are huge at the moment. That is definitely they're just massive. Like it's just superhero movie on top of superhero. They're just feeding us superheroes, and I think they're actually going to start making some now. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is obviously why Deadpool came out.
New superheroes?
I reckon they're going to. I think they are. Or they're going to raise up the ones that haven't been talked about for a while from the dead.
Yeah, they're just going to option every... I mean, Disney bought Marvel, so every Marvel comic, and they've probably made hundreds of different weird, obscure superheroes that they're going to try and make. And I hear they're making a new movie based on The Tick, which is I don't have a problem against because I like The Tick at some point in my life.
Actually, speaking of movies, I watched one the other night and I was up quite late because I got so stuck into it. It was a very strange, odd movie. I can't remember what exactly it was called, but basically it was a story. I would never have watched it, but it was so strange. It was a story about a young girl. I think she was 16 or 17, and she had a boyfriend, but she was very attracted to older men. And during the way, she ends up getting involved with a man who's, I think, 31 or 32, and she's 16 years old. And so she's having, she's sleeping with him while she's sleeping with her boyfriend, except the older man is with another woman, obviously.
You don't know what this movie's called?
I can't remember what it's called.
Do you know the actors?
No, they're not super famous actors. One of the guys was. He's not in it very much. He kind of looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. He used to go out with Drew Barrymore. Oh, I forgot his name.
It's not Tom Green.
No. No. Anyway, in it, and it's very odd, but for some reason you cannot stop watching. It's very psychology sort of movie because you're trying to understand why she keeps doing this. And anyway, she ends up, continuously sleeping with that guy and then with the next guy, and she's just sort of all over the show. And then she ends up getting a job as a nanny. And then she sleeps with the father, and he's even older than the other guy. So he's like much older. And then she claims she falls in love with him. And then she becomes pregnant. Yeah, it's really strange.
With the father?
With the guy that she was babysitting his child for. And, she can't seem to understand that these men actually don't love her, that it's just because she's young, and she was very attractive in the movie. And it's a very interesting movie. I actually kind of want you to watch it. I
feel like I have seen it. It sounds really familiar plot.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge movie. I think it was recently. It was made in 2015. I'll have to try and remember the name for you. But at the end, the funny thing was, once she had slept with all these guys and she was so mind-fucked or whatever you want to call it, she, what happens is it just sort of cuts, and then it goes to not really like a black and white version, but it goes sort of looks olden day, and then it almost looks like it's a true story or something. I don't know if it's based on a true story or whatnot, but then it goes back to the original, from what it seems like in the movie, to the original people in it, because it sort of showcases different people, but they're playing the same characters. So I don't know if that's like they're trying to go back in time as if to say these are the actors portraying these actual people or something. And anyway, it stops and then it shows the new cast, and then you sort of just hear someone over talking, in the movie, and there's the mother's talking, and she's writing on the girl's blog because she had a blog.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going on and on about, how she was having affairs, whatever. So her mother was looking through the blog, and she was writing in it saying that she had disappeared, that apparently that day after she had, found out she was pregnant or whatever, she disappeared. And then in the movie, it doesn't tell you what happens to it, nothing. She has gone, and the mother is just asking the bloggers to give them any information to try and find her. And then it finishes. And you're like, well, what happens to the girl? Does she keep the baby? Does she end up with any of these older men? She sees a psychologist, but 1 or 2 sessions. It's a very odd made movie, but it was quite interesting because it wasn't like one of those movies that were just about money.
I've definitely either seen it or someone's definitely told me this story. So
it's quite, I don't know. I thought maybe that would be something you like. But tell me about what your sort of film you're into. What is it that, because you don't, I'm getting the vibe that you're not like, what I like about you is it seems what you like is what you like, and you're not manipulated by what society, sort of tells you to like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess people like the Avengers because everyone likes the Avengers. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're, different. I like that.
I just think that people, I can see when people get excited about one thing. When I ask people, like, why did you like the Avengers? Oh, how cool was it when the Hulk picked up that guy and bashed him around? And I was like, wow. And I asked a few people and they said the exact same thing. I'm like, literally that one moment made it one of your favorite movies.
It was funny. I think.
Oh, I'm not denying that. It's just weird that literally people get sold by this one moment and then they hear everyone else loving it and then it becomes a thing to like that movie when it...
Yeah.
I think people agree now that time's passed, people go, Avengers wasn't that great. I could be wrong. But I've noticed people not thinking it's that amazing anymore.
I think for
I don't want to bag on Avengers here. That's one of those movies where I just did not... I walked out going... What did people love about this film? Other than it was a bunch of people meeting up from other movies, Well,
I guess that... Look, people get excited over that, though. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what... At the end of the day, these... their job, the writers and the directors, is to make money.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to make movies to not go anywhere. Otherwise, they wouldn't continue, I guess, their craft.
Oh, I love, and there's a lot of movies out there that made a lot of money that I enjoy. The problem is the problem with films now is there's no middle industry anymore. There's either big blockbusters like Avengers or there's real independent movies that are like only $1 million and don't get any publicity. So you only see them in film festivals or when they come randomly on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And that middle ground, we're losing a lot of movies that would exist in a movie like a movie that I really like is like Groundhog Day. Which that the plot is cheap enough that you could do that on a low budget, but you will never get a movie like that in terms of and promote it as a big movie again, because it would have cost $40 million to get Bill Murray in this movie and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do the plot of Groundhog Day for $1 million because it's a very simple plot, but it won't get any promotion. It'll just become an obscure movie, And I think everything is... All the talent in movies is moved to TV now.
Yeah, I was actually going to say as well, if you haven't noticed, what they're just doing is they're paying, actors and actresses that have a really good reputation, obviously, and a big fan base, and they're just hiring them to do a shit movie because they know people will go and see it regardless because of that specific actor or actress that's in it. That's why they go and see the movie. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Essentially now, it's not like you can change the actor from Iron Man because he is Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? That's how they know, and that's how he knows he will continue to make money because he is Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? They've made it so that he can only come back.
I love the first Iron Man. It was amazing.
I love Iron Man. He's actually my favourite superhero. He
and
made
Iron Man
himself
3
a superhero.
Is made by my favourite director, and and well, not favorite, but one of my equal favorite directors and written and writer directors. And it's got Robert Downey Jr., which is his amazing actor,
isn't he?
And
My God, he's amazing.
I love the first one, so it should have been the greatest movie I've ever seen. And it had a great setup. I love the setup, and at the end, it just doesn't make sense because it's like, well, if he's in trouble, why didn't he just call Captain America to come help me out?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was Iron Man 2 or 3. We're getting really into movies, but they're just like, I found it weird. I don't know. Iron Man. Maybe it was Iron Man 2, where he had like all of these Iron Mans surrounding him, but they were so easy to break.
Yeah.
And it was like, how on earth are all of these Iron Mans falling to bits? Like, they were just falling apart.
Yeah.
Yet he claims that he made them so strong, and yet it was just like, I understand the aim of that movie, because it was to say he's Iron Man. You can't just get a robot and obviously get him to do that. I understand the aim of that is they were trying to say he is Iron Man. You may think he's not anything without the suit, but he is Iron Man, and that's what they were saying.
The suits.
Yeah, because me and my partner were having a debate. He was like, "Oh, it was shit. It was shit. I don't get why Iron Man was so weak," and I'm like, "It's not. I don't think that was their aim." So I like see the little hidden messages, like even in Gone Girl. I don't know. Many people don't notice. They just go, "Oh yeah, it was all right," or like, "Yeah, it was a really good movie." Gone Girl is a message about marriage. If you think deep, it's a huge message of marriage. Is that it is massive commitment, and no matter what, you're in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think a lot of people realize what the message was. A friend of mine that I went to go see it with, when it ended, she's like, that was a stupid ending. And I'm like, that was a perfect ending. Like, I get why they ended it that way. Figure out the message. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't get the little messages in it. Gone Girl to me was a great movie. I think the storyline behind it, I think it dragged on a little bit, but I never stopped wanting to watch that movie. I think it was spectacular, and they did such a good job on it. I don't know, I loved it. I thought it's one of my top 10s.
Yeah, I enjoyed going to see it, but I mean, it was based on a book. Have you read the book?
I haven't read the book, no.
And it's directed by David Fincher. And I thought Rosamund Pike just knocked it out of the park. Because she's
God.
like, she's like from Pride and Prejudice. And then suddenly she's like this crazy girl that's amazing.
What about the scene where she slits his throat? That was fucking awesome. That guy. Oh, poor guy.
You got me thinking about this movie with the babysitter gets pregnant.
Oh, really?
And I searched that and it's just all porn comes up.
Oh.
Dad F's virgin babysitter and gets pregnant. Pornhub was the first result.
God, I have to remember it. Oh, what was it? It was so good. I could not stop watching it. It was really good. It was so low budget though. You could tell it just had it was nothing fancy or whatever. But it was, it was a good movie. It wasn't just. I don't think it was made to be a massive movie. I think it was just, like a movie. Speaking of movies, have you heard of orangutan films or something or other?
In Perth.
Yeah.
I know there's a movie, this guy is trying to get this movie made called Rangatang.
Oh, okay. I don't know, because I got an email, because I think I applied for something on Star Now, which is where me and you got in contact. I can't remember what he wanted me to go and audition for a specific role. But I was like, I've never heard of Rangatang, and I wasn't sure, so I thought I'd ask you, while we were podcasting, whether or not you knew anything about Rangatang.
I don't know him personally. I know some people who'd worked with him, and I got the scam vibe from it. But I feel bad saying that because I know what it's like to try and make movies with no little money. And I wouldn't want people saying that about me. So I don't want to say about when I don't have any evidence.
Of course. Well, I Googled Rangatang.
And there was a lot of posts about him saying he's been flown to Indonesia and China with investors. And
apparently, yes, about a big deal he was supposed to do in China.
And that just screams scam to me.
Does it really? Well, get this.
But I don't know the guy, so maybe some people were trying to scam him.
Quite possibly. I don't know. But see, this is the thing where you don't know with Star Now. When you put up the ad, did they ask you for any? Yeah, well, did they ask you for anything specific? Because I was like, because they claim on the website that it's very legit and there's no scammers or whatever. But I feel like it's so easy to get on it.
It probably is. I mean, I think I've done a lot of auditions through it, so maybe I'm, they've said, okay, he hasn't murdered anyone yet, so he can keep on putting up auditions. Well, they're a bit of a scam because, they make you pay for, I had to buy, I bought this.
You have to buy it to be on it. It's not like
for actors, yeah, but for other people it's normally free, except if you want to contact someone who has an audition for you, you have to pay.
You have to pay, yeah.
And someone tried to get in contact with me and said, I'm deleting this account, but you can get in contact, but their contact didn't work. And so I paid the money to try and contact them, and then they ended up finding my email address and contacting me directly. So I paid for this thing, for this credit, that you can use for messages, like it's SMS back when it was 25 cents a piece or whatever. And then I got an email. So I have this money, but I've never used it because that actor ended up contacting me through email. And then I get this email saying that your credit is expiring. I'm like, this isn't... What do you mean it's expiring? This isn't like a mobile phone. This is a website.
Yeah.
You anyway, and it's like, oh, if you buy more now, your current money will keep going with your new balance you add. I'm just like, oh, what a ripoff.
Yeah, mine actually, every 6 months in my account, it deducts, I think it's like $50 or something, and I don't actually know how to even stop it, and I haven't even tried, which I probably should. And
so what? It's $50 a year to be a member.
I think every 6 months or something, they take it out of my account, and then I can go on and search and apply for anything that I want, which I don't really even utilize it enough because there's so many things that I don't know whether to trust or not. But then there's also stuff that I know is legit, like E-News had an ad up on there because they were looking for a new host in Sydney to be a host, on the show, and that was on Star Now. So I was like, oh, okay, well, so it's obviously not that fake because there is certain stuff on there makes sense that I know is legit because it was like being advertised everywhere. But then it's like, yeah, you don't know, like with this orangutan thing. But anyway, what I was getting to was I got an email from him, and he was like, that's where I start to get uncomfortable, where he was like, oh, can you meet here and bring 2 different outfits and a bikini and come and audition. And I didn't respond, and then the next day he emailed me back saying, somebody's already taken the spot, thank you. And then I emailed him back saying, okay, well, thank you for letting me know. And then he's emailed me back again saying, well, she actually didn't show, if you are still interested, ? And I don't know whether or not to respond because I was actually kind of relieved. I didn't know that the role had anything to do. I'm not comfortable yet, I don't want to meet a random person and just be like in my bikini, like I'm sorry, he's not in a studio or anything, like I don't know where he was asking to meet me. So I was like, well, no, I'm not going to bring a half naked outfit and come and show you, like that's inappropriate. And so basically what I'm saying is, what do I respond, like the nice way? Because if he is legit, I don't want to be like, oh, like get rid of him completely. I almost want to respond in a way where it's like appropriate.
I definitely would not go if he just wants...
He said bring 2 outfits and a bikini change. Yeah. And I was like, where are we going?
Unless he means that he wants you to wear a bikini after leave so you can get changed quickly without needing a...
Well, obviously, whatever the role is, I can't remember.
I would be wary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I hold auditions in public.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, that's why I wasn't
not just for... It's for my safety as much as... Because I've had some scary experience with actors getting really angry.
No, tell me. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so you get some people who get really loose ends and they get grumpy that they feel like I'm not liking what they're doing. And I was lucky that I had the second assistant director there with me because he tried to attack me. And this guy, thankfully, the second assistant was like this really buff guy who like stopped him from getting me. And he just did that because he was a friend, not because it was his job or anything.
That's really...
But I've been scared ever since then, and that was at a public place. But
I wonder if that would actually happen to, directors and stuff that are in proper studios and like have sets and all of that. Like would you? Well,
if you have a real brand, obviously you have security and stuff like that. Like I've held, if it's a funded film, I usually actually like rent out a place. Like last year for the film I got funded, we had a room at the state library, you know, and with glass windows so that obviously the security guards can see whatever's happening inside, you know.
Wow. So where do you, I don't know if it's appropriate to ask on the podcast, but when you say you get funding, where do you usually, you know, ask for the funds? Like, who do you go to? Because I don't really know the whole process, and it's interesting.
Well, I mean, you can get money from investors who want to invest in your film, and they get a share of
whatever
prize money it makes or money it makes. That, you know, if you can sell tickets to it or sell DVDs to it.
Do you have like a sort of a goal that you're trying to reach? Because obviously you like film and, you know, all of that.
It'll be cool to have like, say, actually get paid to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like at the moment you get funded, but the money that I make from it goes into the film.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm a career during the day.
Yeah.
Although I probably wouldn't give that up even if I got paid, because it's
something you enjoy. It's like your hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it up if I'm too busy to do other things, but it's, you know, it makes you go out and meet real world people rather than just other film people. And how did we get on this?
I don't know. We always go from A to B. Orangutan.
Anyway, yeah, I definitely would not go somewhere he's asking you a bikini, because I'm like, I understand that if it's a role where you want to have someone who looks good in a bikini, you need to know, but they should either go to straight through a modelling agency in that case, or they should have an audition, explain what's happening, let them read the script so you get to know, oh, this is going to be tastefully done and I actually like the script, this is worth selling my body for.
Yeah.
And then come back for a second audition, and it's like, look, we got to know, you know, if you got the right humps and bumps in the right places.
No, I'm not comfortable doing that. I actually wonder how you know, like.
But there's a lot of people who do that.
No, and I can understand
thing
that.
And get people to do weird auditions, you know.
You know,
I exploit that. I got you to go, hey, come on my crazy internet radio show. You know?
Yeah, but look, it's not like you didn't ask me to come and do a podcast naked. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big difference. I was quite, you know, confident in that, because obviously we were at Elizabeth Quay and everything as well. But I feel like I applaud those women who are actually able to do that, to go, like, I mean, I look at some movies and they're doing just these like full on naked scenes, and I'm like, how embarrassing. Like, oh God. I mean, obviously eventually if you got to if you know it's like a huge movie and it's going to be in the cinemas and all of that, you know,
you would do it. If the director of Gone Girl was like, hey, you're going to be the lead of my next film, but you have to be naked the whole film.
Oh shit. That'd be my response. Oh shit. No, look, I don't know. I don't. If I knew it was a legit project and it was gonna, you know, maybe just, I don't know. I never say never. You don't know, because I've said never to certain things and I have done them. Like, honestly, whenever I said I would never do that, I've gone and I've done it then a year after. So I'm not going to say never.
What are these things?
I don't know. But like, even if I say never, like, I mean, I said I would never be in a relationship young, and I got with someone and I ended up with him, you know.
Right. You're not talking about I'm never going to eat sushi and then you end up eating.
I said that as well. And then I ended up eating sushi. Yeah. So like just little things like that, you know. I'm never going to do drugs. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Of course not.
This is a PG rated podcast, people.
Oh, you have some amazing drug stories. You're welcome to tell.
No, do you?
No, I wish I did. As if I died tomorrow, actually, and they're like, oh, they'd like give you a post interview, look, you're dead, and they say, what are your regrets? I didn't take enough drugs.
Oh, drugs are so big now, aren't they? It's like these days you turn a certain age, and that's the first thing on teenagers' minds. But anyway, I don't really want to get into that. But how beautiful is this view, James?
It is very nice.
It is very pretty, and the music is actually quite loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yeah. This scene of heartbreak.
Guess the song. Send us an
It's
email.
a wannabe Michael Jackson song, I tell you that.
It is, isn't it?
Did you have a soapbox topic?
I feel like we've discussed so much soapboxes.
Orangutan.
Yeah,
Orangutan is just soapbox topic.
that is my soapbox. But you didn't tell me what I should reply. You didn't actually give me like an ending. Like what? How do I reply to this guy? Because if he's legit, I don't want to be like. But I feel like what if he's like legit and I'm like giving up an opportunity, you know, because essentially entertainment is what I'd like to be into, you know. I mean, if I got an opportunity to
Right,
actually...
have you booked a time?
No.
Yeah, well, I think as long as you haven't booked a time, that's fine. I would say, I booked another role.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I can't commit to this right now.
Actually, I was going to say that. Ooh, we're on the same page, James.
Yeah, the worst thing is not turning up to audition.
No, I would never do that.
I've definitely blacklisted a few people that just wasted my time with that.
Do you get a lot of people who do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird, though, because I feel like maybe people don't know if it's real or not, you know? And then maybe that's why they just go...
That's true, but why even book a time?
Yeah.
If they have got questions, call up or email and say, I want to talk about it more.
People have doubt.
Communicate.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
is key. I don't know.
We haven't set up a way for listeners to send in questions, and this is the first episode, so there's no way that anyone would send it in.
Yeah, any questions, guys?
I had a topic I wanted to talk about. I was watching the Truman Show on the weekend. Have you seen the Truman Show?
Yes.
Do you ever wonder if you're in a TV show?
No. Why? Do you wonder?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That this isn't all just created for you?
I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
Because as far as we know, we only know what we know, if that makes sense.
We have only... The way that it works is... I have been taught from what my parents know, and my parents have been taught from what their parents know, and it only goes back to a certain... That's how we learn. That's how people, humans, learn. I've always had a thought that we are just a little pea in a huge, you know, pod, obviously, and then there's people watching us. Yes, I do believe that there are, whether you want to call them aliens or other certain species, I do believe that we are, for a lack of a better word, fuck all in this world. We are nothing. I think we are experiments. This is my belief. Well, not really a belief, it's a thought. That we are put here and by, you know, whoever, you know, put us here, obviously evolution, whatever you want to call it, God. But I think we're an experiment. And that's, yeah.
But you don't know if you're the, what do they call it? The main...
character
in a show, but in a science experiment they have the control that's everything else is going crazy with, and you have this one that's just the normal one.
So you think that you're like that?
Sometimes things happen that you like. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch my show because my life is fairly boring. Although when it is exciting, it is pretty exciting. But I also want to know, if the Truman Show existed, would you consider working on it?
And pretending
like being one of
to
the
be
actors,
one of the cast.
and you live your life as someone else. And you don't know when it's going to end. It could go for your whole life.
Yeah. To be honest with you, probably not. But then I would, and then at some point I don't know if I'd pull out.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting. Yeah, the Truman Show was weird.
Yeah. Would you consider auditioning for the role of the wife?
I think that'd be the hardest role to audition for. Yeah, which is what I was thinking. That's why I'm like, ooh, that would be hard. And obviously sleep with them and pretend that you love them and do all that. And I don't know. I don't think I'm that kind of person. I think that people can be. But I don't know if I'd be able to pretend. I'd probably pull him to the side and be like, listen here, mate, like, you're being recorded. Yeah. Get the hell out of here. I'd do that because I would feel sorry for him.
Bubble.
No, but I'd feel sorry for him because everything around him is fake. And so much of the joy of life is the unknown.
Yeah, but how do you know this isn't all fake?
Well, you don't know.
No.
You don't know. I guess that's the mystery. But you can't give me someone to say this is fake. Do you know what I mean?
You became addicted to the Truman Show, like you watched it at home and you actually fell in love with him.
Mm-hmm. And then went on it.
And then you knew that the only way to fall in love with him was to actually audition to be his wife or his love interest.
I'd still tell him. I would go and play the part.
But you would definitely do it. You would audition?
Yeah, 100%. I would go. I would audition.
Mm-hmm.
I would try and get the part. I would be with him, do all of that, be as honest as I could. And then eventually I'd try and tell him or try and, run away with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge, believer in, well, I wouldn't say believer, but a fairy tale person.
Have you ever done anything just because you think it's kind of like a movie?
Yes. I think so. I'm.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, maybe with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I try and pretend like we're in arguments.
Okay. You start an argument.
I start an argument, yeah. And sometimes I'll sit down and I feel like it's not really partners talking. It's like me, the psychologist, and then him being interviewed. And sometimes I think I'm just trying to play a part in a role. And that's where, because I love movies so much, I pretend I'm in a movie.
Yeah.
And that's where it sometimes gets a little weird. Mm-hmm. Even me and my brothers are like that. We just absolutely love movies so much that sometimes we feel like we want to pretend that we're in one.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. I once, my long lost love, I knew she was going to be the first time I'd ever knew she was going to be. I hadn't seen her, lost complete contact. There's no sign of her on the internet or anything. But I found out that her sister was getting married. So I was like, well, she's definitely going to be at this wedding. But I knew that if I just crashed this wedding by myself, I would obviously stand out. A big guy in a Hawaiian shirt is going to stand out and I'll just get kicked out. So what I did is I went on Gumtree and actually posted an audition for someone to be my fake wife for the night.
Oh, wow.
And it was, it was down south, so it was a bit of a destination wedding, so I was going to pay for them to come down a nice hotel suite and they just have to play my wife for the evening and we'll crash the wedding together and we'll have backstories and stuff like that, like, oh, yeah, we're the cousins of these people, blah, blah, blah.
And that is so cool. That's like a movie.
And integrate ourselves and try and pull it off. And so I could then stalk the person I wanted to stalk.
Yeah. And?
The auditions were a bit of a disaster. I got the biggest crazies turn up ever.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I had to change my phone number and everything.
I doubt any sane people would rock up to an audition like that, though.
It was an interesting experience. I wish I did that stuff more often.
Wait, so did you actually end up going to the wedding then?
No, because I couldn't find someone that I trusted.
Enough to travel with.
There was plenty of people who volunteered, but
yeah,
a bit shady.
Damn. You should go and go into the city and just, those I guess if you call them homeless people, but and go and
hire one of them.
Yeah, and just be like, hey, do you want to make a buck today?
Yeah.
Come and pretend to do this. They are actually willing to do whatever.
Are they?
I reckon they are. I like the ones usually that don't.
I think they make more money just sitting there with a bucket out.
Yeah, I feel so. It pains me to see people homeless. It really does.
Is it a choice though? Is it literally if you got kicked out of home now, would you literally have to sleep on the street, or you can go to a shelter and have a shower there? And it's only the people who are mentally unstable that don't go there.
I don't believe that there should be homeless people in Australia because there is so much assistance given from the government. So there should be homeless people.
I'd love to hear something.
I don't believe that there should be homeless people.
I've actually asked my friend who does work with the homeless thing to come on, but she never has bothered to come on and to talk about it because I have questions like this. You
should, because I'm very interested to know. I've always wondered, where do they go? Because, what's funny is when I worked in the city, I knew pretty much all of them because obviously I was there every day. Now, the strange thing is they were around in the morning when everyone rocks up. Excuse me. They were around in the morning when everyone would, come, and then they would disappear when through a certain hour, and then they would come back at around lunchtime, and then disappear again, and then they were back again when they knew everyone finished from work. But then late at night, they were all gone.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do they go? They obviously have somewhere to go, or maybe they have a certain section that they go to. And I don't know, and I'm not going to say I'm a judge of these people's lives, but I'm very curious to know. I actually know I don't know a homeless person, but a friend of mine's uncle, who they've tried to take in many times, is a methamphetamine addict, and they've tried to bring him in and help him out, but every time they did, he would steal money and just go and buy more drugs. So I don't know if I could ever do that, but they've allowed him to be on the streets. Now anyway, every time I'm there, I see him and he just draws. And I walk past and I can see his amazing drawings. What I'm trying to say is I think some of these people are really smart in some way.
Yeah.
I think they've just lost their way. I mean, there's also a guy who eats through his nose. So it's like, I'm not saying they're genius.
Or maybe he just can't eat through his mouth.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, and then he just vomits all over himself, and then he'll just sit there and laugh, and you're like, are you okay? You don't know, I always try and, give him, if I have anything on me. I don't actually carry a whole bunch of cash. I'm more of a card person, but I feel really sad for them because I wonder their backstory. How did you get here? Do you know what I mean? Like, I almost want to interview them and be like, how is it that you got to this stage in your life? Because I'm noticing a lot of young teens are actually more homeless. I actually went to the city on Sunday, and walking through the train station, there's a lot more homeless people than usual. And it's very sad. It's very sad. I don't understand it. I understand that the economy is suffering. A lot of people don't have work and they're struggling to pay their bills, and a lot of people I know are selling their houses because they can't afford their mortgages, so they're going and renting really cheap houses and all of that. I mean, I don't quite understand it because me and my family, we've never been in dire emergencies, I guess. My parents have always tried to fund for us to have a good life where we've never really had to worry about those certain things. And I'm finding as I get older, I'm learning about what reality is. Do you know what I mean? Like, reality has truly hit me recently, and I'm like, wow, it's actually really hard to, make sure that every day you have food. Do you know what I mean? And I guess to these people, that's their only worry is, where am I going to get food from? And a lot of them have signs saying, please spare me $1 to buy some food. And you're like, are they going to spend it on food? Sometimes I prefer to buy them food and then give it to them instead of actually giving them money. Because I don't know. Are they going to buy food? You don't know.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have drug addictions, and it's like they have that dependency.
Or it's an addiction.
Yeah, it is an addiction. It's a disease.
Just like cigarettes.
Yeah, addiction is a disease. I have a question. We need to wrap up.
Yes.
But the thing is, a lot of times I go off in tangents into my own world. And then when I listen back when I'm editing the podcast, I go, oh, I need to ask Jess about something she talked about. This is what I had from last time. Who is the new neighbour and why are they interesting? You said you had a new neighbour that was very interesting. A new neighbour. N-E-W.
I did say I have I was talking about the neighbour with the dog, wasn't I?
That was complaining, yeah.
I was talking about that,
But
yes. The new neighbours that I'm referring to, they are across from us. They're not on the side, they are across. And I don't know, I wouldn't say that they're interesting, but they always have their... So it's just like a giant window, right? And they don't have curtains or blinds or anything, and all day you can see what they're doing. So like they watch TV or whatever they're doing, and even at night they put the lights on, and then they have the TV there, and then they have the couch, and you can see them just sitting there. So they're old, and they're an older couple, and you can just see everything that they're doing. And I'm like, I sometimes sit out the front. I have like little, just like 2 chairs and a little coffee table, and I'll quite often in the morning go and sit and have my coffee outside. And I can see everything. And sometimes I just feel uncomfortable sitting outside because I feel like it looks like I'm looking into what they're doing. And there was, recently there was like a big lizard walking around. and it came like into our sort of house. And the neighbour, I saw him through my house, came and he picked up the lizard and put it at his house to obviously eat all the bugs or whatever. I don't know if it was like a blue tongue or what it was. But I was like, do people do that? Like just go and pick up big, huge geckos and put them in their yard? It's like, I'm glad he got it out of my yard. Like, I don't really want this.
Phil, he stole your gecko.
He stole my gecko. But I was like, why is he,
Sure, he's not spying on you.
I don't know.
And that was just an excuse to walk over.
That. What's that movie that
Rear Window?
No, that one with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, it's a remake of Rear Window.
Oh, is it really?
Suburbia or something.
Oh, Disturbia. That's fucking scary. Yeah, he's like that. Like, I can just see everything and he's like an old creepy man, and I'm like, close your freaking windows. He's just like, he's weird. Like,
so when you said they're interesting, you thought they're weird, interesting, not interesting.
Yeah,
I want to be friends with them.
Yeah, no, not like interesting. I want to be friends with them. Like interesting, like that. I can always just see what they're doing. Like, they're not neighbours that are there. Like, we also have neighbours that are next to us on the other side. I never see them ever. I'm like, does anyone live there? You don't hear them. You don't see them. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. We must be the loudest people on the street. Like these frigging Macedonians banging on pots and pans, you know, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's household is different. I quite like a loud home. Mm-hmm. I don't really want a super quiet home. My partner's home is very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm scared to walk because I feel like she will hear me walking.
The dog lady.
No, like when I go to my partner's house, I'm saying, because his house is quiet and ours
Who's
is
she
loud.
though?
His mum.
Oh, his mum. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so he lives with his parents and I'm, my parents. What I'm saying is our house is quite loud.
Yeah.
And his is super quiet.
Yeah.
You know, do you like a loud house or a quiet house? Bit of both.
I have been through periods where the house is too quiet. And I was a bit worried with the cat gone, because normally the cat is always there, like throughout my childhood and stunted adulthood. And now the cat's not there. That was funny way, like Dad ring me. I was like, "Are you okay? You know, there's no one there, and the cat's not there." But I probably generally prefer quiet. Like, I really enjoy just being in a house by myself on the weekend. I was very zen. But then there was lots of, because it's in a sort of beach house suburb, there's lots of other people down for the weekend, so the community had a bit of an atmosphere.
No, look, I mean, I like, obviously, everyone likes a bit of quiet and me time. Definitely, I need that to reboot. But I'm so used to somebody always playing music or just always having someone, there to sort of chat to. I guess we're a super close-knit family. My mum's my best friend, literally. And, my dad's the guy I always go to for life advice. Yeah. And, my brothers are the guys I hang out with and, chat with or whatever. And I guess going, my partner, he's basically an only child. He's not an only child, but he's the only child living in that house. He's the youngest. All of his siblings are a lot older than him because his parents separated. Like, I find it sometimes just, I guess it's funny how two different worlds collide. His house is so quiet. Like, literally, like his mum, even if you when you want to heat something up in the microwave and you get a plate or whatever, she hears like the crackling of the plate and she'll sort of like look around like, who's here? And I'm like, fucking hell, a bit of noise and it's like the whole house wakes up because it's just so quiet, and sometimes I just want to walk around and be like, woo, woo, just to be like, get a bit of action here. It's got to be a little bit depressing. I don't know. I get depressed when there's nobody around. Yeah. I need to have like some sort of interaction, But that's just me. I guess I was raised with like tons of cousins and tons of like family and, grandparents and my mother and my father and friends and all of that. And, as I got older, obviously people started their own lives and most of my friends are married and whatever. So obviously my life is quietened down, but, we totally went to some different direction now in this. But anyway, Yeah.
They would. Normally, I try to just ignore the neighbours, and just because I would hope they ignore me as well. And
I want them to ignore me. I don't want to be. I'm not saying.
I'm not even talking about friendship. I'm talking about like seeing, listening in what they're doing and stuff like that. But then there's one really flamboyant family moved in, and they never had the curtains closed. They had it all open and lit up, every light on.
So weird.
They
right?
were smokers as well, so they spent a long time outside, and literally their smoker's patio on a sort of still night, and with my window open to keep it cool, it sounds like they're talking in my room. Like it just reverberates right into the room, and I can hear every word they're saying. And I almost became just because it was there. They were so out there that I couldn't help but start following their storylines. And I never really know their names because they never actually said. It's so rare that they actually ever said their names directly to each other. Obviously, when you think about it, that's probably normal because you know everyone's names. You never unless you're like shouting at someone from the other side of the house, you never actually say their name. Yeah. So I had to give them all fake names, and I sort of followed all their storylines.
Family.
The mother was broken up, and she had a whole series of boyfriends coming in, and then the girls and the brother and the sister had the brother was a bit older, and he had more serious like relationships. And you could just hear
what of the like? Were they bashing each other or something?
What,
were they having sex?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
And the younger sister was just graduated high school, and so she was having a lot of friends over and stuff like that, and I tried to keep track of friends, but it's impossible and give them names. But it became like watching a dollhouse, that you're just watching.
Oh my God. See, that's how I feel about these neighbours. Yeah. I know like what they're doing all the time. Yeah. It's weird though. Like, close your freaking curtains. Like, yeah. I don't want to know. I feel like a stalker, honestly.
I'm thinking of writing, and I probably can't do it, and maybe try and get someone to make it for me, a video game where you kind of have this house and you're a ghost, and maybe it's a hotel when you're going from window to window listening to conversation, and if you have to be outside a certain window at a certain time and to get all the bits of information you need to solve like a murder mystery or something like that.
Well, apps have a lot of
because you're trying to connect they're having these conversations, and literally you can hear them like there, but they're all bits and pieces. I'm not there all the time, so you're trying to connect them all and try and see what's happening in their lives, but it's very hard to do because I'm not there all the time. And I was just like, one time they were having this really crazy argument, and I was like, I want to listen to this, but I was late for work, and I barely just made it to work in time because I was just like, I gotta see where this goes. Oh
my gosh. Now that's a stalker. No.
Well, it's not like
I'm joking.
Like I'm in their house. No. I'm literally just sitting in my room and I can hear it.
Yeah.
They should not stop smoking and talk inside.
You should start recording them or podcasting while you watch them.
Oh, they left, thankfully. I did think about doing that, but that would be stalking.
How about what if we name our podcast Suburban Chats?
Suburban Chats. Suburban life.
Suburbia. Disturbia.
Disturbia. I think we need to find a word like that and then go to the thesaurus and find some weird word that means the same thing. Anyway, we should wrap up. We've been talking for
I know, it is like cold as well. Yeah. It is cold out here.
Thanks, Jess, for being on the show. Have you set up like a Twitter account or something that people can stalk you?
Yeah, do you know what? I have, but I was going to actually ask you how to really get it properly started and up and running. I don't even know really how to use Twitter because I haven't really been on it before. But I was like, okay, I'll start one up. And I haven't really had the time to flick through and sort of figure it out. I don't even know what I named it. But we have to do that. It's in the process, guys. It is.
Okay. Well, when it's up, I'll put it in the show notes and we'll say it on it, and you can follow Jess and send her questions.
Yeah. Please do.
Off air. And eventually when we get a name, I'll set up like a website like blah.com. You can send an email. But until then, you can send us questions at mailbag@jimmerishfm.com. there's actually a couple of questions that I've got from a previous show that are backlogged, and we'll probably start getting questions on this, and we'll maybe start a listener mail section.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Jess.
Thank you so much, James.
It's been nice chatting.